Was the Ukrainian withdrawal from Pokrovsk merely a tactical defeat, or the opening act of a wider unraveling? Reports estimate that up to 10,000 Ukrainian troops abandoned the city, many fleeing in panic. Eyewitnesses describe chaos, relentless drone strikes hunting convoys, shells raining down, and exhausted soldiers forced to escape on foot through a city shattered by war. Russian forces advanced from three directions, steadily tightening their grip, while Ukrainian commanders scrambled to coordinate an orderly retreat. The heart of Pokrovsk, once a beacon of hope, was engulfed in smoke and fire. Now, observers wonder, is this the precursor to total collapse on the Eastern Front, or a desperate but calculated move to fight another day? The truth behind Pokrovsk's fall is more than a battlefield story. How it is understood will shape international perceptions, influence policy, and determine where trust is placed. If the world misreads this moment, the consequences could ripple far beyond one city or campaign. To understand what is at stake, we must first explore why Pokrovsk mattered so deeply. Let's step back to see how Pokrovsk became a linchpin in the conflict, and why its fate now echoes far beyond Donbass. Why did Pokrovsk matter so much to both Ukraine and Russia? Once an industrial heart of the Donbass, Pokrovsk became a national symbol of Ukrainian defiance. Its factories, railways, and battered high-rises stood as proof that the city would not yield, even as war turned daily life into a fight for survival. For over a year, Pokrovsk was at the center of a brutal struggle. Elite Ukrainian and Russian forces battled block by block, transforming the city into a fortress. Trenches, concrete barriers, and hidden mines lined every street, each one a testament to the defenders' grit and the attackers' relentless pressure. Then, in early November, the balance shattered. Russian troops launched a precise offensive, exploiting muddy roads, armored assaults, and advanced electronic warfare. Suddenly, Ukrainian lines buckled. Exhausted and outnumbered, defenders watched as their positions collapsed under attack from several directions. The chaos played out in real time. Satellite images and drone feeds exposed the scale of destruction: shattered homes, burning convoys, and desperate soldiers retreating through the ruins. The city that once embodied hope became a landscape of smoke and broken stone, its fall stunning even seasoned observers. Pokrovsk's loss was more than a local setback. It sent shockwaves through Ukrainian command and threatened the stability of the entire Eastern Front. Ignoring Pokrovsk means missing how one city's fate could tilt the balance of power across Donbass. But how could such a fortified stronghold fall so swiftly, after so many months of sacrifice? The answer reveals the harsh realities of modern warfare, where no city is truly safe, and the rules are changing before our eyes. To understand this turning point, we need to examine the cascading failures that allowed Pokrovsk to fall. The lessons hidden in this retreat hold urgent warnings for the future of the conflict. What truly compelled the defenders of Pokrovsk to give up their ground? The answer is not found in a simple head count or a single moment of heroism. It is a story forged at the collision point of technology and tactics, a relentless test of hybrid warfare where every advantage counts. As Russian troops closed in from three axes, Ukrainian commanders made a hard call. Elite paratroopers and special forces were ordered to cover the retreat, knowingly risking their lives to buy time for the rest. Against them surged Russian attackers who outnumbered the defenders by as much as 5-1. But numbers told only half the story. The Russian assault unleashed a new kind of threat: swarms of cheap attack drones, electronic jamming that choked off communications, and artillery strikes guided by live intelligence feeds. For the Ukrainians, moving even a single vehicle or squad became a gamble with survival. Every step risked detection and destruction from above. As Russian electronic warfare silenced radios and blinded surveillance, the defenders lost touch with command. Ukrainian teams responded with innovation, deploying new software to coordinate multiple drones at once. Yet even this edge could not stem the onslaught of Russian first-person view drones, improvised, lethal, and responsible for the majority of casualties on both sides. Behind the lines, another imbalance deepened. Russia's factories now churn out munitions and drones at a pace Western aid cannot match. With each month, the gap widens, the odds grow longer, and the defender's position slips further from reach. The battle for Pokrovsk is a warning written in ruins. No fortress, however strong, can stand if it is outpaced in both technology and numbers. Pokrovsk's fall is not just a setback. It is a signal of how quickly even the most fortified positions can unravel when the skies and airwaves belong to the enemy. Pokrovsk's collapse forces a reckoning far beyond the battlefield. What hope remains for defenders when innovation alone cannot overcome a widening gulf in resources? What does the fall of Pokrovsk truly signify for the region, and for the tens of thousands now trapped in its shadow? This is more than a territorial loss. Whoever controls Pokrovsk commands vital supply arteries that sustain the last Ukrainian positions in Donbass. With these routes under threat, Ukraine's defense of its remaining enclaves grows more fragile with each passing day. From here, the path splits three ways. First, Russian forces could capitalize on their momentum and surge westward, racing to encircle more Ukrainian defenders before new lines harden. Second, Ukrainian troops might regroup and dig in, slowing Russia's advance and turning the fight into a drawn-out war of attrition. The third, and perhaps bleakest scenario, is mutual exhaustion. Both sides drained of men and materiel, locked in a punishing stalemate with no decisive winner. Yet the real cost extends beyond the battlefield. A deepening humanitarian crisis now grips Donbass. Tens of thousands of civilians remain stranded, cut off from steady food, water, or medical aid. Smashed roads and power outages plunge whole districts into darkness, while the constant threat of violence keeps relief at arm's length. Amid the chaos, both Kyiv and Moscow intensify their war of words. Claims of atrocities, propaganda victories, and strategic messaging flood the airwaves, shaping morale and global perceptions alike. Every image, every statement, becomes ammunition in an information war that draws new front lines far outside Ukraine. Meanwhile, the global response grows tangled. Western military aid, once a lifeline, now falters under the weight of war fatigue and political friction. NATO's ability to keep pace with Russian firepower is under strain, as production lines and supply chains buckle from relentless demand. The margin for error shrinks. Misreading these shifting dynamics could mean more lost lives, spiraling regional instability, and a humanitarian disaster that spreads across Eastern Europe and beyond. But in Pokrovsk's ruins, are there lessons for strategists and policymakers, or warnings for all who watch wars from a distance? The answers may shape how nations prepare for the conflicts of tomorrow, and how societies choose what and whom to believe. The war's next phase will test every assumption about strength, survival, and the power of information. What does Pokrovsk truly reveal about the new rules of war and the limits of both machine and human power? First, Pokrovsk's collapse shows that concrete walls and even tens of thousands of soldiers are not enough. What once looked like a fortress fell quickly because one side adapted, using drone swarms, electronic jamming, and precision strikes, while the other lagged behind. In modern war, the side that learns and adjusts fastest gains the upper hand. Yet technology does not win battles on its own. Morale, communication, and the willingness of allies to help can shift the outcome as much as drones or firepower. At Pokrovsk, failures in communication, made worse by electronic warfare, left defenders cut off and confused. The belief in international support became a wellspring of hope or a source of despair. The human factor remains at the center of every clash. Every change on the map is more than a news item. For soldiers and civilians, it means homes lost, lives upended, and the pain of sudden collapse. Headlines may track which side holds which block, but every advance comes with a real, often tragic cost. Meanwhile, the information war rages as fiercely as the fighting. Media stories can blur facts, casting events as disaster or triumph before the truth is known. Critical thinking, not just headlines, is vital for anyone seeking to understand what truly unfolds. Pokrovsk will not be the last place where strongholds fall overnight. Technology leaps ahead, and information distorts reality. The lesson is stark. Ignore Pokrovsk's warnings and risk repeating its mistakes, whether as a leader or an ordinary viewer. But what does this mean for those watching from afar? Citizens, leaders, or anyone invested in the world's security? The stakes ripple far beyond the battlefield. Pokrovsk was never just another city. It became a warning shot for the world. What happened here was not simply a tale of soldiers and shattered buildings, but a demonstration of how quickly the rules of war can be rewritten. Fortresses that would have survived for months fell in a matter of days, not only to shells and rifles, but to invisible electronic warfare and relentless swarms of cheap, deadly drones. This fight showed that neither morale, technology, nor sheer numbers can win alone. When every resource is stretched to the breaking point, even the strongest defenses can collapse. The defenders of Pokrovsk manned trenches and bunkers, but faced an enemy that kept shifting tactics, forcing them to adapt or falter. For months, headlines called Pokrovsk a symbol of resistance. Yet its fall did more than redraw maps. It revealed the uncertainty at the heart of modern hybrid war. Electronic jamming blinded commanders. Drones hunted convoys that once would have escaped. Each lost kilometer put new regions in jeopardy. Ignorance is no longer tolerable. The cost is measured not only in lost ground, but in lives, security, and the future of entire regions. Misunderstanding these battles risks everything. So next time you see a headline or viral video from the front, look deeper. In this new era, victory or defeat hinges on those who question, who seek what lies beneath the surface, and who refuse to settle for easy answers.